kind of dark. You're really live. It's dark.
You can turn on the overheads if you want to.
Here. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, now we can see ourselves. Yay. Okay. And other people can see us.
And other people can see us. I love it.
Okay, so welcome to EDulting. I am Ryan Mitchell, also a Mitchell.
Oh,
yeah.
We could be related.
Yeah. The Resilience Center in Tulsa. I'm a licensed professional counselor in Oklahoma. With me as always,
Tara Rolfus, mom to 3, army wife, student of therapy, no longer nursing. Nursing school dropout and Bible school dropout.
Yay!
Nice.
Now you're honing in on what you want.
Yeah. That's awesome. I wish I would have been more open to like switching around in college. Love where I ended up though. I'm Kylie Mitchell, and this is my office where we are at.
Houston.
This AC thing. Yeah, and I'm a dietitian. I work in eating disorders.
So we're really excited. Tara and I were chatting over brunch a little bit about what to talk about. Definitely, I think as being new moms, as a not too far off from being a new mom, we definitely want to hit and kind of talk a little bit about postpartum body image and the pressure on women and the comments women get and how to handle some of that. For example, what I frequently hear is like, "You look great for having had twins," and I don't even know how to take that. It's like, what would not be great?
Yeah, that is frustrating. I really feel, and I've said this so many times, that like in pregnancy, your body knows how to gain weight, and postpartum, like your body knows how to find the weight it's supposed to be. And I feel like the world we live in is just like, that idea is just so radical. And there's times I feel very like disconnected from like, even this hashtag I started following recently on Instagram. It was like stay-at-home mom life. And it was just so much working out. And like, I talked about this on the blog, like working out's great, but like, I don't know how I was expecting like stay-at-home mom life to be a lot about like meals you're making for kids or like a fun little activity you did. And it was so much about like moms working out during nap time. And I was like, is this it? Like, is this what we're supposed to be like going for as moms? And I thought that was so weird.
Or involve your baby in it, right? Do squats while holding your baby.
Which, like, baby yoga can be fun. Like, I think that's awesome. But like, I don't know, it just seemed like it was making motherhood all about being a certain body size. And I was like, that makes me really uncomfortable. And like, that's not what I'm going for at all, because like my body size isn't something I need to micromanage. Like, I know if I just listen to hunger and fullness cues, and if I move my body when I want to, that my body's going to find the place it's supposed to be. And that is probably going to be a different body than I was before I had kids. And so when people make comments like, you look good for having twins, like seriously, like what are you supposed to say to that? Like,
I usually just say, thank you, awkwardly.
Yeah, like that is so weird. I'm trying to think of weird comments. I feel like a lot of people in my life know like not to make comments on my body. And so it doesn't happen. I mean, I don't know. I guess being in moms groups, like there are some people more like concerned about their bodies than others. And I know just like being in eating disorder recovery and like being an intuitive eater, like I know like the pursuit of weight loss or the pursuit of making my body look a certain size isn't what I want. And like, that's not what I'm going for. Like that doesn't line up with my values. And like to have to pursue a certain body size, I feel like that would get in the way of like what's actually important in my life. Relationships and like being present with my daughter and having time to spend with God. Like I feel like it wouldn't lead to a fulfilling life. And I think a lot of women, because motherhood and postpartum time, like it's so chaotic that it's so easy to like want something to like latch onto and like to control, and like controlling your body size. Like that seems like a good place for some women to want to like put all their anxiety and stress and control in when nothing is going right. Like nothing is going right.
Yeah, I can remember my
youngest is a baby, but I can.
I can. My youngest is about to turn 5. My oldest is going to be 13. So yeah, it's been a long time since I've been a new mom, but like I can remember when my youngest Sadie was born and being in Target like shopping for new clothes because nothing fit, and a woman approaches me with like, "It works. Like, you can lose weight." I'm like, literally just have this thing fresh out the oven. thanks. Which at the time, like, I was still in my eating disorder, so that was not helpful at all. And I was just like, all right, cool. It's like, you know what you said, when you challenge like the Ed voice is like, oh yeah. So, yeah. It's like you have to be super careful with what you say to people. And like also, I have this rule, like, never ask someone if they're pregnant. Like, I feel like that's a common decency rule that you should have.
Yeah. Especially like working in eating disorders, because like when an anorexic, not all anorexics are at a very unhealthy weight, of course. You can be anorexic at any body size, but if someone is like very malnourished and they gain weight, they usually do gain all the weight in their stomach, and like they do look pregnant. And like I've had clients get asked like, "Are you pregnant? Like when are you due?" And that's just like, why would you ever ask? Like just don't say things.
Yeah.
And then like when you receive a comment like that where the person is wrong, like an example is one of my friends. She's also a dietitian, not in eating disorders, just clinical, and she was working, and someone was like, "Oh, are you pregnant?" And she's 6 months postpartum and definitely not pregnant. And when he said it, she's like, "Oh, no." And she caught herself like trying to make him feel better.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Wait a minute, like, screw you. Like, I'm not making you feel better. Like, you're the one who made the mistake." And I just feel like you just shouldn't comment on someone's body, like, or their pregnancy. It's crappy that happens.
And okay, so now I'm going to be a little obnoxious. And so it is crappy. And I also see it sometimes as an opportunity to model something different.
Yeah.
I was telling Dare, like, I recently returned to the gym. Like, I've incorporated movement back slowly. First, I went back to my ballet classes because that's my mindfulness. That's my meditative thing, right? And then I made it, like, then I started walking with the twins. And now I'm like, I want to feel stronger. So I want to lift some weights. So I joined a gym. It's like 24-hour access gym, but they have a little bit of weightlifting. I'm like, yeah. I finished a workout, and a chick from a place I used to work out was there. She does photography, and she said, "Have you had family photos yet? One of your photos?" I was like, "No, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like, what a great idea. I haven't done that yet." And she said, maybe when you're back in the gym a while, and I was like, actually, I'm fine with my body. I'm just here to feel stronger.
Yeah.
And she caught herself, but it was like, sometimes it is crappy. And I think when you're feeling a little more solid in your recovery, it's also an opportunity to be like, let me challenge that in the here and now with as much grace and tact as possible. Sometimes I want to punch people in the face.
Yeah, I think that's awesome because like it's exhausting. Like I love my clients and like they absolutely fill me up, and I love the blog work I do. But sometimes you want to break, and like when someone makes me work when I'm not supposed to, and I'm all for like advocating, but like you could be trying to enjoy a meal and then the waitress will say something that's like, "Oh, that's the highest calorie dressing. Did you know that?" It's like, what are you talking about? Like, why would you care what dressing I order?
I'm looking out for you.
I'm just like, okay, thank you. And it's just like exhausting sometimes to have to like be countercultural and to go against the norm. And I agree with what you're saying. And there's been a couple times when people have commented on my body, and like just saying like, "Oh, like you are looking thinner. Have you lost weight?" And I'm just like, I don't know. Like I don't weigh myself. I don't have a scale. Like maybe like my body doesn't need as much fat as it did when I was pregnant. It's figuring out what it wants to do. Like I don't micromanage it, and trying to find like just kind of like a powerful like single sentence you could say back to people when they do like make some body comment that makes them think. I don't know, it doesn't come off as attacking. Like it's kind of a hard balance because like my favorite one is like, I'm not more valuable if I take up less space in this world. Like I've always loved that. But I think that even can kind of be like kind of come off as like aggressive. But sometimes I totally think that one is appropriate. And I think it really makes people think like, "Oh, no, that's not what I'm saying." But I'm like, is it? Like, I think that is what you're saying. Like, it would be better if I was smaller and like took up less physical space in this world. And I think that is pretty messed up. So I agree. Like, it is a good time to be able to like advocate for the like non-diet approach, and for intuitive eating and how it can be a really like healthy and healing model for not just eating disorder recovery, but anyone to follow and to find like peace away from dieting.
Yeah, I preach intuitive eating so much on my Facebook that I had a friend message me and wanting more links and stuff, and I sent it to her. She's like, "This has like changed my life." I'm like, Oh,
That's awesome.
that's so cool. I'm so happy for her because like she would post, well, not just her, but like lots of people would post, you know, like Whole 30 challenge or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh,
Uh-huh.
that stuff. So now I have to unfollow you.
Yep, I'm a serial unfollower. Like, I follow like 80 people on Instagram just because like so many people annoy me. Like, I don't have time for this. And like, I like when I get on Instagram and start scrolling, and I'm like, oh, I've already seen this, and it's like kind of an indicator to get off Instagram and like go engage in life. So,
I had a burning question.
okay.
Okay, so when you're working with health at every size, because this is kind of sort of where I am personally as well. When you're working with health at every size, like, how do you make that shift from, okay, all foods are okay, like, let's take away the power from food, into more of the general nutrition piece? Because one of the things we were talking about is like, when a food, like let's say RX bars, for example, from my real life, like RX bars, I look at them and I'm like, that is, to me, like the ideal like snack when it comes to the nutrient content. But then on the other hand, right, the orthorexic tendency is like, oh yeah, get the RX bar because it's just egg whites and da 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 da. Like, so how do you balance when there's like those two competing sides, where maybe it is like the I don't know, which like what your body wants and needs at that moment, but it also is definitely appeasing the disordered eating history.
I had a very similar conversation with a client this week about this. And it was about a certain dessert, actually. But I think variety is important. Like, if you're not sure if something is disordered or not, I think a better question is like, is this helping me live a better life? Is like, so eating this RX bar, like, is it disordered? Is this coming from a good place, a bad place? Just simplifying it to like, is this helping me live a better life? Yes or no? And if it feels like kind of a complicated answer, then like looking for ways to add in variety and get away from that RX bar. Because like, I do think something we should, if you're in eating disorder recovery, you should always be proactive with variety in your life, and you should not be trying to fall back into like rigidity of any sort, or restriction of any sort. And I'd say like having an RX bar for like every single meal, or snack, sorry. Like that would be disordered, you know?
That's a good marker. Thank you. Yeah, to be able to look at, okay, nothing necessarily inherently wrong, but if that's the only thing you're going for, the only thing that feels like quote unquote safe. Right?
Oh, crap.
Like, if it tastes good, like
it's like it's more satisfying than like, because nutritionally almost like caloric or whatever, it's like almost the same as like a pack of Belvita bars. But like to eat 4 Belvita bars for me is just like, it's terrible. I wouldn't want to do that. But I could eat a Lara bar and get like more satisfied out of something smaller. So it's like trying to find that balance between like what I can tolerate right now and like what you know, what's really challenging. So
so can tolerate in the sense of like what feels good to your body, or
what feels
what
good. Like I get full really easily and stuff. So like what feels good and like not getting overly full, and then like balancing water intake.
So I guess with the RX bar, like, I think it's just good to know like what other foods you could go to, or like, because like having an RX bar, that's not the only thing for you. But like, what other snacks would make you feel similar to the Lara bar, to the RX bar, or something like that? I think could be really good to figure out. I feel like I'm in this place with like meals and snacks now, and it might just be like this postpartum time where everything's so busy and crazy, where a lot of times like nothing sounds good, and I know I just need to eat. And so like yesterday, like I had a milkshake for a snack, and I was just like, I don't even want a milkshake, but I just need food. And it wasn't like I need a huge snack. It was just like, I need a snack. I'm gonna have a milkshake right now because Chick-fil-A is right here. Got it, done, moving on with my day. Like sometimes I don't even think there's time to like think about what would be a satisfying snack, just because like motherhood makes you so go. I have a lot of mom friends who just talk about like, oh yeah, it's 3 p.m. I haven't eaten anything today. And I'm just like, they don't have an eating disorder history, but like I do. And I know that would be really unhealthy for me to like ever skip a meal. Because I know there's always time for food. Like no matter what you're doing, there's always chunk of time that you can figure out to eat something, and like you need to if you've had an eating disorder. And so it's weird, like being in this place where like food isn't as like exciting anymore, just because like all foods fit and you can eat anything, and like and I do, and it's great. But like when food shifts away from being like a large source of comfort in your life, and you find other things for comfort, like food, absolutely. I love cake and I find comfort and pleasure in that, absolutely. But like when you just find other things as well, it's kind of this shift where I feel like food takes its proper place in your life, and that isn't a euphemism for restriction or anything like that. It's just a shift I've noticed like in my recovery journey, where it's like, I'm not like as excited to eat. Like I know I'm going to eat 3 meals and at least 3 snacks today. But it feels more normal. Just like when I need to pee, I go pee. When I need to eat, I go eat. And it's just like, it's nice. But then kind of like mourning the loss of like what food used to be. Like food used to be this ultimate comforter and this like really nice thing to look forward to, and then you could restrict during the day and then end up like finding comfort in food that evening, and just like how that just doesn't do anything for me anymore. And I think that's good and healthy, but it's just such a shift for food to be less of a comfort.
Yeah, like for me, food was never really a comfort, but like trying to find that balance between food can be a comfort, and then also like just not being excited about anything, because like I have to prepare everything, like, you know, for my husband and kids, and busy schedules. So it's like trying to find meals that A, aren't terribly orthorexic, and B, are satisfying and challenging enough, and that everyone in my house will eat. So
that's tricky with like multiple kiddos.
Yeah, and you had some great questions too about like feeding kiddos like after an eating disorder too, like even in that like postpartum, like how it affects how you feed your kids. So,
how it affects like how to model good food relationships to your kids after eating disorder. Because like my oldest, she's been alive most, like I had her when I was 18, so she's been alive most of my eating disorder, and so she unfortunately has picked up a lot of my like restrictive tendencies, although she doesn't restrict her food and stuff, and we have deep conversations about like, you know, if you're going to go for a run, you need to do this, because your body needs energy and stuff. But like, whereas my other kids, my youngest, Sadie, has been alive for most of my recovery almost, and she's the most intuitive eater. Like, eats whatever when she's hungry, and I'm like, gosh, Sadie, your goals. 5-year-old with goals. Like, she'll hop on my dietitian call sometimes and be like, bacon, and I want to talk to my dietitian about bacon.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, but so like modeling, like finding the balance between like when I have to give pure food with my kids, trying not to like outwardly freak out, but also like validating my emotions and just being like, you know, this is hard and this kind of sucks, but also I have to model eating for my kids, so it's like.
I heard something this week that was like super convicting for me, and it wasn't in terms of eating disorder recovery, but it was just said that you can't pass on values to your kids that you don't have. And I was like, because I feel like with eating disorder recovery, like a lot of like blog readers and emails I get, they're like, how do I prevent my kids from getting an eating disorder? And I think that's so great and so noble, and you're doing the best for your family, but I really think it does start with you, and it sounds like you're doing a great job. You have a dietitian you meet with, you acknowledge and like have compassion for yourself when like fear foods or food challenges might be hard, and you're actively recovering. And I really feel like instead of being like, what are the things I can do to keep my eating disorder hidden, it's like, what are the things I can do to actually help myself recover, because that's going to translate to my children. And that's tricky, because I feel like the eating disorder can easily stay hidden. If you're kind of like, I just want to act recovered. Like, I don't actually want to recover. Like, when I get those emails, like, I know they're in a place of like pain and like struggling, but it's like, you recover. Like, that's what we do. And maybe there's like a loss of hope that they don't feel like recovery is possible for some reason. And like, that's tough. But I really think it has to start with the mom, like taking care of herself.
Yeah, we have a rule in parenting, my husband and I, is be what you want to see. So like, you know, be what you want your kids want to see. And so like a lot of that is, you know, for me walking out my recovery for my kids. Like when I went to treatment, we sat I think she was 11, maybe 10 at the time, to kneel down and told her what I was going to treatment for, like, this is good, like, I'm sorry, and like stuff like that. And because she's really smart and she knows things anyway.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to hide this from her because we felt like it might be something, you know, she could struggle with in the future, and I wanted her to be able to talk about it with me.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like, you're open and honest. If she was old enough to like be included in the conversation, like eating disorders do have a genetic component, and like I hope my children never have eating disorders, but you know, who knows what can happen. Like, they're gonna struggle with something, like no doubt. I hope it's not an eating disorder, but it might be, you know. And even, I don't know, being the perfect food, I feel like things could still go bad. Like, she's still going to be exposed in school to like diety conversations. I know I'm not going to be able to protect her in every single arena of her life. But I think having a really great example at home of like me and my husband being very normal, non-dieting people, is going to be super impactful, and just letting her know her worth doesn't come from her body size. I think that's going to be great. But like, raising kids is tough.
And it's especially when they start going to school, because then they get inundated with all of the healthy foods and blah blah blah.
Yeah, the schools provide the label. Yeah, right. So it's like, how do you talk about? That would be like one of my curiosities. Is like how to talk about food and nutrition at home when they're being told, and you can probably answer from Sabian's perspective, but like when they're being told, this is good, this is bad.
Cupcakes are bad.
Yeah. Or like, this is nutritious, this is not. It's like, but it all breaks down to the same nutrients.
That's what I tell my kids. Like, they came home saying, cookies are bad, they're terrible for you. And like, my orthodox brain's like, yeah, bro, I know. But like, my recovery brain is like, well, actually, they're just carbs and fat and sugar, and your body uses all of that, and your brain uses lots of sugar and carbs. And so my child went to school, and at snack time they're having cupcakes, and the teacher went on cupcakes are bad, and my 4-year-old goes, all food's fit.
That's awesome.
Like, she's such a little rebel. And so I got an email from the teacher like, well, what is this all foods fit? Like, can you explain that to me? Like, yeah, sure. But yeah, it's so funny. So that's what I teach my kids. And then my daughter my oldest one plays like lunch police at school, and she has friends that are like restricting or whatever. She goes up and makes them eat. She tells them all the things that I tell her when she doesn't want to eat. And I love it so much. I'm like, oh, look at this. Like, they're not getting what I had at that age and stuff. And so it's like really fulfilling to like be able to pass it down. And I feel like if you've got a good stable in recovery, or, you know, just the knowledge that your kids, you know, can more than likely not end up, you know, eating disorder.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree, and like, that's what I hope absolutely for my kid, or kids in the future. Food neutrality, like, that is very much where like I live and my husband lives and our household lives, but like, it is hard when it's rare. Like, it's rare to find people who are truly like neutral about all foods. Like, right now, like, personally, like, I'm on this great like chocolate chip cookie search for the best chocolate chip cookie like recipe. Like, I'm making cookies a lot. It's so fun. We always have cookies in the house. They're a great snack, and it's just like they're a snack. Like, they're not some rare dessert to hold up on a pedestal. Like, we have them for snacks daily, like whenever we want them, and it's just so nice, like, to not elevate cookies to more than they are. Like, they are like carbs and fat, like, and it's wonderful. Like, I need those things in my life, and I know I don't have to be scared of them. And so it just, I wish the world worked like that. Like, you know, it would be so nice. And my daughter's starting like a preschool, which is hilarious because she's 8 months, and I'm like, it's daycare, but they call it preschool, and I'm like, okay. But like, I don't even know what conversations they'll have about food there, you know, and I can't like control that. But like, I'm excited like to be having conversations with her about like why anything that's not food neutral, I believe, is wrong, and what that contributes to, and how restriction just amplifies cravings, and how that doesn't help you, and how like the non-diet approach is not anti-health. Like, we're still very aware of health, and like, we want to be healthy people who live fulfilling lives. And so we'll see how it goes with preschool. In cupcake conversations. Who knows what will happen?
First step, preschool.
Yeah, exactly.
Next step, middle school.
Just like that.
Yeah, it really is. It really is.
That's what I hear. Yeah.
So I wrote some things down. Okay. Let me. My daughter's texting me. All right, I've got, let's see. How about hardships in life as a mom, living in like a Pinterest world and like Instagram and Facebook and social media, and everyone's posting like join my plexus challenge or whatever the other ones are. And like I can't tell you the amount of hey hun emails I get like for all these like thirsty people who like want to sell me weight loss crap, and I always tell them like, oh thanks, but no thanks. Like I'm not into that.
I think so. I was trying to think about this because, like, my mom friend group, they're very like down to earth, like realistic women, and I think it's because they're all like second or third time moms. Like, no one is a first time mom, and I think that's nice because they're more realistic and like they know like life isn't gonna look like Pinterest or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't feel pressure to like have to be reading a certain number of books to Joanna a day, or have to be practicing letters, or
I have the perfect smash cake for her 1 year birthday.
I mean, I want a smash cake. I don't know what it'll look like, but like, I don't know. I just don't feel the pressure because I know she's gonna grow, she's gonna develop, she's gonna be fine. She's gonna learn to read, like no matter what. So I don't know. I don't feel like I fall into a lot of that. I guess a lot of time off social media is good, just because like it would be exhausting to be comparing yourself to that all the time. The compare and despair, like you always hear people saying. And I think that goes back to following people on social media that like build you up and don't like tear you down and make you feel bad about yourself. Because I'm super selective with who I follow because like I think that would be exhausting. And there's things that I struggle with, but it's. I mean, I don't know. I guess like getting everything done in a day, like figuring out the balance between like working and like being a mom and things like that. There's definitely things I feel overwhelmed a lot, but not so much from like comparison.
Yeah.
I think just like how to get everything done, you know, and how to be like cheerful and like grateful for this opportunity to get to be a mom while doing that. Like I feel like that's more what I struggle with than anything else.
Yeah, definitely. My point, I guess, is like you see like in the news and stuff like all these celebrities like recovering super fast from their like pregnancies, and that like always really angers me because I'm like, why can't they just be who they are, and like why do they have to like restrict or whatever? Because you know that they're doing some sort of crazy restriction, and it's like, why can't we just amplify regular moms, like with the whole Princess Kate or whatever.
Oh
yeah,
like just like in a dress and heels, like less than 24 hours.
I felt. Here's the thing. I felt pity for her because I thought like that can't have been her choice.
I was just like, what? Like, yeah. I mean, there was still like a lot of blood coming out of places. Like that was not an okay time to be having pictures taken of you.
Standing up for too long is
like,
dangerous.
Yeah, like I couldn't believe that. But I think like celebrities, like that's not reality, and I think it's for me good to remember like they have like a chef and a trainer and like all these things, and they have like childcare when they need it, a drop of a hat, and like that's not reality, you know. And I think motherhood is like a humongous sacrifice. Like, and I want that. Like, I think I want that sacrifice. Like, I want to know. I want Joanna to know. Like, I love being with her. She's worth me spending time with her. And if that's at the sacrifice of me going and like working out one day, like that's fine. Like, I want to be with her. And I think that's just a very intentional thing for my recovery. Not that you can never work out. That's not what I'm saying at all. But like celebrities, like it's not real life. I'm like, do they even spend time with their kids?
Yeah.
Like just, I think Kim Kardashian has 3 kids now. Like, I would love to know what her schedule looks like. I would be super curious to just have a little peek into like what her day with them looks like, and how much, you know, maybe she doesn't want to have an active role, maybe she does, but like I want an active role in my daughter's life, and that might come at the sacrifice of me being at a higher weight. And I think that's fine, but I also trust my body to find the size it's meant to be. And sometimes my like movement for the day. I was going to say exercise. That's why I did that around movement. I take it back. The movement for the day might just be like walking around the grocery store with her, you know, and that is totally fine. And my body will let me know when it craves more movement, and I'll do that. So
I think that's a really good, because one of the things I love about Health at Every Size too is what are you responding to? Like, is it the external cue or the internal cue? Are you responding to the shoulds? Are you responding to culture? Are you responding to your own your own image discomfort versus actual discomfort? You know, like, what are you responding to? Or are you responding to the impetus to move, to your body's like energy levels, to what it's craving or not craving?
I think people are so scared to like trust that, to like actually trust that their body will tell them when they want it to move, and trust that their body will tell them when they've had enough food. And
I think, I'm getting excited about here because I get passionate about this. And I think a lot of that they don't trust because it's still that paradigm of they think if I do those things, I'll lose weight, right? If I'm listening to my body, if I'm moving when it says to move, if I'm eating the things that I know affect my energy level in a good way, then my body will fix itself by losing weight, right? And so I think a lot of people don't trust that because they haven't seen it result in weight loss. And so they're like, it doesn't quote unquote work, but it's like, let's look at your overall picture of health and how you're sleeping, your stress level. I could go on.
Yeah, I mean, pursuing health does not guarantee weight loss.
Yeah, I definitely just walked through that. My first year of recovery was no exercising, like none.
That's awesome.
And my second, I gained lots of weight. And I was like, what the heck is going on? I have PCOS. My body was finally healed enough or whatever to like tell me, hey, your hormones are out of whack. And it's like, so now I'm craving movement and stuff, and I get to, it's like, as long as I do all the things I'm supposed to do, I get to enjoy that movement, and I get to define like what that movement is to me and not to others. And so like I'm in kind of like this community that I do CrossFit, so this community like prioritizes all of that, and I'm like, oh, I'm not really here for like competition or being ranked 1 out of 5, or like I'm just here so I don't like record how much I lift or whatever at all. I'm just like, I'm just here for the fun. I'm just here to move. And yeah, one of my coaches was like, you know, I just had a hysterectomy 12 weeks ago, and so one of my coaches was like, you could lose weight just by walking. And I was like, well, that's not what I'm here to do. Like,
yeah,
thanks, but
like, oh, do you want to shut that door? Yeah, it's hard when when someone like minimizes movement as a way to lose weight.
Yeah,
like that really sucks, you know, because it takes away like some of the joy and pleasure that you're able to find in that. Yeah, and like I hate that. And I think it's so healthy like to take a break from exercise, and that's not praised in our society. That's like imagine when you went to the doctor during that time, like they could have been freaking out on you. Why aren't you moving more?
Yeah.
But like you need to, like, for your mental health, and like that goes back to like the world we live in, like values physical health so much, and like I'm not okay like valuing my physical health at the expense of my mental health. Like I just like don't think that's an option for me at all.
Definitely. Like I'm maybe at a higher weight now, but I'm definitely in a better place mentally and like living a more full life than whenever I was in my eating disorder and, you know, inappropriately using movement or whatever. So yeah, like that's kind of like how I weigh it, no pun intended.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. Am I still meeting all my, like I have a list of core values. Do these still meet my core values? Check. Cool. Am I doing something that's like coming against those core values? And if I am, then I need to question like, why am I doing this? Where is it stemming from? How am I gonna get trusted in therapy if I need to? Or
so in my eating disorder recovery, I stopped running completely, and I took like 4 months off of like all exercise, like you were saying, to be off, and it was like just so healing. And then like just the other day, like I had this craving to run, and it was so weird. Like I was trying to picture myself running, and like I couldn't even imagine like how my body would work. And so I like talked to Andrew, my husband, about it, and I was like, it's so weird. I just haven't had this desire to run for the last like from a healthy place for the last like 4 years. And so like I ran like 45 seconds, and I was like, good, craving satisfied, and I'm done, you know, and like I don't need any more, and like I'm in a good place now. I don't have that craving anymore. Like I like yoga, I like other forms of movement, but it was so weird like to have that and like think about like where is this coming from? Like, is this a good place for me? And then just to be able to make that decision, but actually processing through the why, not just like, because like running is not bad, but sometimes the reason behind exercise or behind the why is bad.
Yeah.
So taking time to think about
punishing
that.
or whatever, and then you need to like decide, well, maybe I just need to spend some time off looking myself and being comfortable with being uncomfortable with no movement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Definitely. Exactly. That's actually how I found you, because I was Googling, like, I was really angry, like, man, the team's not letting me work out for a month or for a year or whatever, and I Googled it, and like your running thing came up. I was like, oh,
yeah,
like
compulsive exercise.
Gotta read this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you had something like, and I gotta say too, like I think I told you in an email the should I eat the cookie graph?
Oh.
I use that in groups. I use that in sessions, and it's a great way too because I love it, and I use it as a jumping off point to like, emotional eating can still be one tool you use to comfort yourself, and that's fine. But like, let's look at and that it is kind of like more internally focused. Except, and I love the line like, "Are you in recovery?" Yeah,
eat the cookie.
Yeah. Well, I always do that. Like,
it's just there's so many. It's so complicated. Like why we eat. Like I don't know. Just nutrition. Like I have no desire to learn more about nutrition. Just because like who cares? Like it matters about like why we eat, how we interact with food. And yeah. So I'm glad you like that graph. That was
that came out on my birthday.
Oh, did it? Yeah. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
That was for you.
Thank you.
I love it.
Kind of took the quality into consideration because there's some people on either side of like restrictive overeating spectrum that you know that's a factor. Like, is this? I mean, is it a chip and cookie or is it a? Yeah, that is.
I'm in this part of my recovery now where if I had to do a food fear challenge about cookies or whatever, I want it to be a good cookie.
Yeah.
Like I don't want it to be like terrible.
Just wait, there's a blog post brewing about like the best chocolate chip cookie recipes.
Oh,
so, depending on what kind of cookie your taste buds like. So
I like chocolate chip and no bake. I think are my favorite so far.
But you like thin or fluffy or like the texture?
My younger sister is in family and consumer sciences, and she makes bomb baked cookies. She's coming to visit, so I'm like, can you make those?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm excited. But yeah. Never that I'd be like, I'm excited about her cookies.
And we're coming, of course. But
yeah, she's coming.
Yeah, she's making cookies. That's fun.
But yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know we're almost out of time.
Okay.
So thank you for your time today. And if you haven't already, please go to I'mmaEatThat.com. Check out the wonderful resources and insights that you give. And thank you for the work that you do. I think it's vital. There's it's a small but very growing community of people who have come to their senses, and I love seeing it. It's those of us who are out there doing the work take a lot of solidarity from the work that you do. So thank you.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for coming to me. Y'all made it a lot easier in my life, so I really appreciate it. So
Thanks for having us.
Thank you all for joining us.
Bye.
And
thanks, guys.
yeah, thanks.
Sorry.